Hey everyone, this is Matt. I'm back and I got a video here today for you. It's a Master Duel replay, Eldlich versus Pendulums. So Master Duel season reset once again. I'm doing my climb back to Diamond 5. This was a game in Platinum 1. I just started playing yesterday, so I pretty much just been breezing through Platinum. Yeah, so I don't know. Pendulums are always funny because there's like two types of pendulum decks. Pendulum decks that basically like turbo, all the quote-unquote good cards like Baronne, Apollousa, etc. And then there's pendulum decks that actually like try to use pendulum boss monsters like Endymion. I think the Endymion variant is more interesting. It's cooler, in my opinion. But yeah, so this is the Endymion, Pendulum Endymion, or Magicians. I don't know what to call it. I'm just gonna put Pendulum Endymion in the title, and yeah, if someone has a better title for it, comment down in the comment section. So let's get started here. So I do lose the coin flip, and I do end up going second. Alright, let's see what we got here. Alright, so my opening hand is absolutely cracked. Yeah, so Imperial Order, always hilarious against Pendulum, right? Because their deck is literally all spells, right? Skill Drain, always good in any matchup. D-Barrier against Pendulums is great because, for those you don't know, D-Barrier you can call Pendulums, right? Pendulums is one of the options of monsters you can negate and prevent the summoning of. Torrential, always good, going first or second, and of course, Power Duality. Alright, so let's see what he does. When I saw the Magician Souls, I thought it was a Dark Magician deck, but then I saw he sent Endymion, right? So this dude is gonna draw through like half his deck, and then I'm like, wait, there's like Chicken Game, and he's like playing a bunch of, he's playing the Spellbook package. I thought, wait, is this dude actually like an Exodia player, right? Because this dude's literally drawing through half his deck, right? So I thought maybe this was an Exodia player. Yeah, Into the Void. Isn't that an Exodia, right? But then I started seeing, there's Upstart, but then this card didn't make a lot of sense, and I'm like, okay, Spell Power Mastery. This is not an Exodia deck. And then I saw another Endymion. I'm like, okay, so pretty sure this is not an Exodia deck. So he summons Endymion. Cool. I gotta say, Endymion is a cool looking boss monster. Like 2800. Look at this bad boy. That is some nice art. Like, it has a spell trap negate that uses spell counters. Yeah, this card cannot be targeted with card effects. Cannot be destroyed by card effects. It's a really cool boss monster. Like, in my opinion, if you're gonna strive to be a Pendulum player, honestly, just be like a Pendulum Magician slash Endymion player. Cause like, I don't know, I just think that's way more interesting than, like I said, Pendulums that just Turbo, Baronne, and Apollousa, right? Or DP or whatever. Alright, so he's gonna make Electrumite. This is a card that Pendulum players wish they had in the TCG. Although I noticed he left one of his link arrows is blocked by Magician Souls, so I'm curious like how he's gonna remove souls, right? The answer may shock you. So I don't really know what Pendulum Endymion deck slash Magicians do. All I know is that like they put a bunch of counters on the field, set up monsters that use counters to negate stuff, right? And pass turn. Alright, so he actually makes Selene. But he didn't link away Magician Souls. That's interesting. Well, like, why would you not want to free up your link arrow spot, right? Okay. Like, maybe I'm crazy, but if he had linked Magician Souls away, he could have brought back Astrograph Sorcerer, right? Onto this spot and had one extra body. I don't know. Like, that's... Again, I'm not a Pendulum player, but that's what I would do. Like, if I didn't know any better, right? So he links Apollousa and Magician Souls into... Selene and Magician Souls and Apollousa, which is... whatever. Alright, so then he ends up playing Secret Village. So before he plays Secret Village, I'm gonna think, okay, this Endymion has a once per turn spell trap negate. Am I gonna bait it with Pot of Duality? But then when he drops Secret Village, I'm like, okay, there's no Pot of Duality happening anytime soon. That's okay. Alright, so then I'm gonna get the top deck of... Also, I'm curious what this card is. Oh, it won't show me. Whatever. So I get the most hilarious top deck of all. Goes in match, right? So he has two darks, a water, and a grass or wind. So right off the bat, Goes in match can take out half his board minimum, right? Obviously, my preference is that he does we go through the torrential tribute path. So right now he does not have 8k to OTK me. So by setting torrential, he's probably gonna want to get to 8k so he can OTK me, right? Hence why torrential is gonna be great here. So I'm just gonna set 5 pass. Classic Eldlich first turn, right? So he's gonna go ahead. He does this thing. I could use Imperial Order here, but I figured, like there's no rush for me to use Imperial Order, right? Like some people just shotgun flip Imperial Order, but I think it's better to save Imperial Order for when you actually need a spell negate, because like unless the spell is gonna be a devastating one, you can kind of just let it go through, right? And then they won't have that spell in the future, right? If you shotgun Imperial Order, they have the spell in their hand, and they can use it at a later time if they can out Imperial Order, right? I'd rather, you know what, just go through your spells, whatever. I only use Imperial Order when I think it would be funny to, right? So he gets the field spell, which doesn't really matter. I mean, so this guy played Pod Desire, so he's down to 9 cards in his deck. So he probably thought I don't know, he was going to search something else, and he's like, well, I guess that's all I can search. Because he banished like a third of his deck. Alright. So he does go for the Pendulum summon, and he brings out the Astrograph Sorcerer. And this is where I drop the Torrential Tribute and blow up his board. He's going to try and negate it, but I have Skill Drain. By the way, for those of you who do not know, Dimensional Barrier also negates the effects of monsters of that type. So if I could instead of, if I didn't have Skill Drain, I could flip D-Barrier here called Pendulums, negates all his Pendulum monsters on the field this turn, and he won't be able to summon anymore, right? So just in case he had another monster negate, I could literally just or he had another spell trap negate, I could just flip D-Barrier, right? Well, he doesn't, so alas, his board's gonna be destroyed. Goodbye. Boom, baby. So what happens if he didn't summon, right? So Torrential can only trigger on a summon, right? What happens if he did not summon? Then if he went straight to battle phase, I would flip Gozen Match, force him to get rid of half his monsters, and hope I draw an out or like some kind of either Eldlich Engine Piece or monster or some kind of protection next turn, right? But he does summon because he wanted to OTK me this turn, which makes sense, right? So yeah, now he's gonna use. So now he was planning to use this dude here, which says, yeah, so remove counters to special summon this card, right? So I flip Imperial Order now, so now he can't summon anymore, right? So he's not gonna get any monsters on the field. See, now I use Imperial Order. Like, also, you know, because I'm a more grindy deck, you know, I'm not a combo deck that can OTK like any turn. Like Imperial Order, I actually paying 700 actually, you know, can come to a situation where I have to end up paying most of my life points and have to destroy it. So yeah, hold off Imperial Order as much as you can. All right, so end phase. I'm gonna draw Punishment, which is good. However, Punishment cannot take out Endymion unless I send a big body. So I'd rather use Punishment for Entis. So on draw phase, I'm just gonna D-Barrier call Pendulums, and he can't Pendulum summon or summon any Pendulum monsters, right? Like even from his hand, he can't even summon Pendulum monsters. So he passes. I draw Ice Dragon's Prison, which is perfect because Endymion decks are all spellcasters, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and set Ice Dragons. He's finally gonna be able to Pendulum summon. He's gonna bring out his Endymion, and he goes into battle phase, and I'm gonna use Ice Dragons to grab the Endymion from his graveyard. Wait, why is there one in his graveyard? Because Magician's Souls put it there, right? So I'm literally just gonna banish both his Endymions here. And yeah, goodbye Endymion. It's the biggest boss monster. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead. I draw Trap Trick, which is great, because Trap Trick can get me to my Elixir, right? And if he ashes, it doesn't matter. Like my Eldlich engine will be in play, right? So Imperial Order pays a cost. He's gonna summon Astrograph Sorcerer. Okay, it doesn't matter. Battle phase. Astrograph is 2500. I can punishment with Entis. Entis, I pop his scale. Why do I pop his scale? So, if I'm not mistaken, so Secret Village of the Spellcaster, oh, it's negated. It doesn't matter. Uh, I pop his high scale just in case he has no high scales left, because all the big monsters, all the important monsters in the extra deck are high scales. So, yeah, or high level. End phase, Trap Trick into Elixir, and then I'm gonna flip Elixir. Grab my Eldlich. Swing for 25. Set Solemn Strike. Set Conquistador. So, yeah. So basically, like, I mean, this game is over, right? If he sets a high scale, I immediately pop it with Conquistador, right? If he sets another high scale and tries to Pendulum Summon, for those who don't know, Solemn Strike can negate Pendulum Summons, right? And in fact, let's say he Pendulum Summons 5 monsters onto his field with 1 Pendulum Summon, Solemn Strike will negate and destroy all of them. And it sends them to the graveyard, not to the extra deck. So Solemn Strike, really any of the Solemn Traps, are absolutely amazing against Pendulum decks. They just like single-handedly win, right? But alas, he just scoops because he probably doesn't draw a high scale. So yeah, GG. Yeah, Pendulum, unfortunately not best deck. Eldlich is. So yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was funny because he literally drew through 2/3 of his deck, or even more. Like he had like 8 or 6, 7 cards. I don't know. He had a few cards left in his deck there at the end. Literally no plays. Like he went through all that deck just to set up 1 monster negate and 1. Well, I guess he had Apollousa. So 3 monster negates and 1 spell trap negate, right? Which is like okay. Yeah, I don't know. Just thought it was funny. All right, so thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Why have I not been making videos as much recently? Well, I dumped, like 7 videos in a row, like a week or 2 ago. I went out of town for the July 4th. There was a friend's wedding to attend. Life has just been really busy right now, so that's why I haven't been putting out as much content frequently. Yeah, I do plan to get back into locals. I have a locals on Wednesday. I'll probably go to that. Did not go to locals this weekend because I just got back from my flight. I just wanted to take it easy, but yeah, and I ended up not going to nationals. So I talked to a Konami rep on the phone, and he told me that my invite to nationals lasts for a year, which means I can go to nationals next year. I like confirmed with him, so I can. So I don't go to Chicago now, right, for nationals. I can go to the nationals next year with the same invite, right? I don't need to top another regionals. And he said yes. All right, so I decided to go to nationals next year. So why is that? So the reason being was well, this time of year has been really busy for me. I feel like I haven't gotten any practice, like enough practice for nationals. I also feel like I've been I've been playtesting Eldlich online, but I haven't. But since the last ban list, right? I haven't really like felt I've reached a satisfying list with my Eldlich, right? I feel like if I top 1 or 2 locals, then I'll do that. But I just don't feel like I'm ready. Like I'm not gonna. And plus, flights to Chicago right now are extremely expensive. There's like a shortage of flight staff, like high demand for travel right now because COVID's over, quote unquote. Right. So yeah, I just felt it's like $800 to fly to Chicago. It's like absurd, right? Plus whatever hotel cost. I'm not gonna pay over $1,000 to embarrass myself at nationals, right? Like I do want to go to nationals when I feel ready and I feel good. Also, none of my friends are going. Like none of my friends got in, so it'll be kind of a lonely trip. But yeah, I'll be going next year. Hopefully, when plane tickets will be more reasonable. Hopefully, when there'll be a better format. Uh, maybe more cancerous cards will be banned, and hopefully when I have a better deck list, like a more solid deck list in mind. All right. Anyway, yeah. Maybe I should make a separate video about that instead of randomly on a matchup video. Anyway, all right. Well, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and see you on the next video. Peace.